Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. I have to say that I feel very delighted to be here and have a presentation with you today. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Chung Thương and I'm a student of class English Presentation Group 1. Before I start my little talk with you today, I want to ask you some questions. Do you often use rote learning? Do you think that is a good or bad learning method? So, in what cases do you think it can work? And did you know the topic today? Yeah, you can see on my screen. My topic today is rote learning is the best way to get good grades. Rote learning is that to be a method that students should not learn, but why is it the best way to get a good grade? Does rote learning mean cramming something without understanding it properly? It is certainly true that most people adopt rote learning nowadays. They don't give much importance to understanding and gaining knowledge. In this fast progressing world nowadays, everyone wants to achieve success in a short way. It is evident that rote learning become a habit for most students and it helps them to some extent. But on the other hand, it is not good to completely depend upon cramming. So right now, to clarify more about this, we will learn about rote learning and better understand the topic. In my presentation, I focus on forming section. You can see on my screen. So let's start with me. In the first one, I'll start with some general information about the definition and features of rote learning. Do you know the definition of rote learning? Yeah, rote learning is based on mentally retaining data through repetition without processing it carefully. The memorized contents are not understood and no attempt is made to analyze their meaning. It is just mere repetition in a time until they are retained in our memory. So next, about the feature of rote learning, it has a lot of features like it is the most basic type of learning, it's mechanical, the contents are arbitrary and retention data are usually stored in short-term memory, but in the other hand, the information is easily forgotten, and this type of learning is usually discouraged. So now I will look at part two. What are the advantages and disadvantages of rote learning? Well, rote learning is beneficial because it helps people a lot. It's a quick procedure. It is a relatively simple, build a strong foundation of basic knowledge upon which they can engage in meaningful learning. It helps us to retain important data like dates, the alphabet, or numbers. Rote learning should not be dismissed as it can add tremendous value throughout our life when we can instantaneously reconfide and figures in flash. This can have both professional and social enhancement benefits for us all. On the other hand, some of the limitation of rote learning is doesn't allow us to examine the information in depth. Due to its repetitive naturally, it could be easy for children to lose focus and easily forget the knowledge. Among students, it's quite common to take an exam relying on rote learning. However, when the question is relative ambiguous or critical thinking is asked, the security of memorized information begins to fade. Here, I will give you some example about rote learning in education. It is used quite a lot in school. We use rote learning to learn their countries and their capitals, rivers, element of the priority tables, etc. And in everyday life, how did you learn your phone number, your partner birthday? Yeah, that's when you really need to rote learn. Now we will move on to the third part. Let's find out more about the saying. Rote learning is the best way to get a good grade. If you dig deeper, you can see that it is actually a hidden sentence because rote learning is learning by memorizing rather than thinking and reasoning. While handy is some is situation, rote learning is the most effective learning process, but is not entirely wrong. Rote learning is the fast way of memorizing material and has its rightful place in education and development. Unfortunately, we are so used to being given information and simply using it. We don't think about the logic behind the information itself. For example, youngsters have to memorize the alphabet before learning to read. Do you remember when you learned the alphabet? It was a prerequisite before you learn words, and it would have helped your learning and development if the alphabet could have been implanted into your memory quicker. Rote learning would be ideal here also. Additionally, rote learning has its rightful place in the memorization of equations and figures where recall of those numbers or characters are required later without any analysis or reflection on that data being learned. Do we need to understand the timetable? Do we need to understand the actual alphabetical list? Therefore, here is a place when rote learning is suitable. And the last one, last but not least, is the bottom line. Let's summarize briefly that what we have to look at. What I would like to clarify is that rote learning makers bridge the learning gap. The whole idea of rote learning is to repeat over and over the data so it becomes automatically stored for later retrieval. You will need to recall data instantly and even impress people with it. And rote learning is a fast way of memorizing material and has its rightful place in education and development. However, it is very important to recognize that rote learning is not the most effective way to learn most things. Rote learning is not going to be ideal in all scenarios, as we do also need to observe and reflect on the information we are absorbing as opposed to just imprinting it in our memory for later recall. So that brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you all for listening. It was a pleasure being here today. Goodbye.